Seattle when I get my shit together and learn how to do these videos better and learn how to cut and edit and all this. I will cut them per game. You know, if you only give a crap about what I have to say about your team that played, I completely understand. I don't always want to watch a 30, 45-minute podcast and have to kind of guess where it was. If I can't figure that out, I will for sure time tag in the description or the comments how to skip kind of to where your team played, and if you care what I have to say. Obviously, you would have just had to wait 11 and a half minutes to get to this point to find that out. So maybe I'll time tag that as well, just because, you know, I'm a man of the people. I'm here for the people. So New York, San Diego, we already touched on the stream quality, the field quality, the post quality, unacceptable. San Diego, Vegas, the league, Commissioner Killebrew, get it fixed, get it figured out, like, unacceptable. I think they have an away game, so you got two weeks, right, to find a stadium. I mean, talk to Bishop Gorman. There's high school stadiums out there that can give a better atmosphere than that. You know, maybe it was last minute, whatever. Fix it. So same thing. I went 1-4-1 on the weekend with my picks. The Warriors came through for me. Thanks, boys. Appreciate it. And Nola pulled off that tie, so I just didn't take almost complete L's. But it is what it is. I went off, you know, my prior knowledge of the teams, a little bit of guessing, a little bit of, you know, let's just see what happens. Took into consideration the travel for RUNY, the off-season for RUNY, like how much, you know, time they would have had together. Northeast off-season winter practicing is brutal, right? If you don't live in the Northeast or you're from the Northeast, I'm in the Midwest now, so I'm kind of understanding what true brutal winter is like. I gave the assumption San Diego, you know, I don't know what they were doing in the off season or whatnot. But I picked San Diego. I figured, you know, they've got the freaking horses, the studs, the big names, all that. They were going to pull it through. But apparently they just love losing to New York week one. So it is what it is. So kind of the first things I saw, obviously, defense was a goddamn option for basically every team in these first couple games. It seemed like we'll get to NOLA, New England kind of were a step above. I think Utah was a step above. And that was pretty much it for anyone who kind of even attempted to play defense. Austin as well, because it was a close game, so Austin as well was playing good defense. But yeah, damn, that first 20 minutes in New York, San Diego, no one wanted or was ready or was game fit for defense. And I think most people expected that, right? No offseason, barely a preseason, probably. Who knows what everyone was doing in the COVID downtime. And you've got two of the most just naturally talented teams, just skillfully stud athletic ability teams going against each other. And you just saw that with super condensed shit defense, not spreading, not identifying, looking at your left and right instead of looking at what was in front of you because you didn't know where you were on the field. That's week one defense against good athlete teams. That's what's going to happen. I have no doubt both these teams will get it figured out. Both great coaching staff and, like I said, stud players. What surprised me the most was actually it didn't surprise me. I take that back. What is surprising that it's continuing is what I think is the lack of grit and toughness in that San Diego pack, because it's so overstated by their athleticism and their ability. I mean, if you took San Diego's forward pack, you could put them against probably any forward pack in professional rugby, or, I mean, half those guys could probably be playing for their national teams or the national team currently, right? It is a stacked forward pack. But I think, you know, they're a little lost in their own press clippings when it comes to their ability and how good they are with ball in hand, running, defensively, physicality. Because you're not seeing the dirty work at the rucks. You saw New York just split them apart with the maul. just walked through them. And San Diego hasn't had a defensive maul since year one. So that could be an issue going forward, right? You know, between Kenny and Psalm and Vita and these dudes, like ball in hand, doing that stuff, you're going to be in trouble. You give those dudes an inch of space. Like, you don't even need to give Kenny space. You give Kenny one arm length to get the ball through, he's throwing offloads to someone and they're off to the races, right? So they may overcome that lack of physicality in the dirty work or the dark work in the dark places, you know, that's what everyone says, whatever you want to call it, with their ridiculous ability to carry and run and all that stuff. But I think they already got exposed against New York. They've got to kind of find as much passion as they have in that ball carrying as they do in smashing an opponent's maul to pieces. Or I'm going to predict, even with all those weapons and, you know, how explosive they can be with open play, when it comes to later in the season, playoff season, you know, that last 7 minutes, you know, if you can't stop a maul, that wears on you for 80 minutes. That's at least, you know, I wish we had some like crazy analytics like football has that I could just pull off of stuff. But, I mean, the statistics and the percentages would probably be insane of the amount of territory that you're losing in kind of those hidden penalties, those hidden maul penalties. We talk about them all the time as forwards. If you can steal a penalty on your 10 because you went for a little cheeky maul midfield, you steal a penalty, boom, now you're in the red zone, you're inside the 22, and we're on. So that's kind of those hidden things of rugby that I don't think a lot of people talk about. Like, they make a big deal that it's a penalty, but I don't think it's explained enough that I think New York, and I'm not trying to be a homebody, but just New York, Utah, kind of Seattle when they were playing a little bit better, can steal those penalties on inside their half with mauls and things like that other teams aren't prepared for, aren't prepared to stop. I'm checking my notes here so I don't I don't skip over everything. I don't have the stats in front of me. I think we're going to see what kind of the time frames are with MLR and stats, player stats, team stats getting onto the app. I haven't checked it this morning. I was doing stuff this morning. This is, my first hit out with this podcast. So we'll see kind of how fast that comes. Maybe I'm gonna change the schedule so I can have stats in front of me to back up kind of what you see. Also some stats in front to kind of clean up some stuff, because I remember when I was playing, you'd get like the scrum efficiency stuff where you watch a game and it would look like a team is just getting their shit pushed in the scrum. Hold on, big asterisk. I have friends and family on my Facebook page. There's going to be a lot of cussing and a lot of stuff on this podcast, so I apologize. You could see a team just getting their ass whooped in the scrum, but the stats would come back. They were like 90% scrum efficient because they like got a ball or technically a penalty, like wasn't losing a scrum. It was a very strange statistic that was very misleading going into games and stuff, especially like watching. You're like, how could you be 90%? You were getting pushed all over the field. So I'm sure like San Diego's scrum efficiency probably went well, but I think New York was dominant in the actual set piece of the scrum. And it wasn't even close. And that goes kind of back to that dirty work, right? Like, scrum practice isn't fun. Doing all these things isn't fun. Mauls, it's not fun. But those teams and those forward packs that do that that's gonna be the difference, right? You talk about the O-line and D-line in football. That's the forward pack of rugby. If you don't do those stuff, or that's your weak spot, it's gonna get exposed, especially year 4. So yeah, I thought Scott Green reffed a pretty good game. He has his moments and his isms that make Scott, but I think hands down he's probably the best referee we have in the competition. Towards the end, I'll probably get on my soapbox and my tangent about the poor to inconsistent refereeing that we're seeing in the States in the MLR, and it hasn't quite improved yet. But yeah, overall, great job to New York on fighting back. I think they have a long way to go. Obviously, defensively, they did not play to the standard of, you know, how they used to play on defense. I think they've got some things in the back line they definitely need to clean up, and that midfield attack wasn't crisp. But again, it's week one. No one was crisp. I mean, everyone was pretty ugly outside of LA, who honestly I'm gonna go hard on those dudes, but outside of just out talenting New England, like they weren't crisp. No one was crisp. It was week one. It was ugly. You had the weather, but yeah, San Diego, in my opinion, the most talented team, probably next to LA, of just straight talent, big name dudes, right? Easily the most second 1A to 1B most talented teams in the competition. If they can come together, if San Diego can kind of get their forward pack firing, they're gonna be a problem. They always are. They probably always will be. For the dawn of time when this league goes off the rails and San Diego's playing in Qualcomm or something like that, you know, who the hell's not going to want to live in San Diego to play rugby? They're going to be a problem forever. But great job to New York. My asterisk on this one, if you ever see it, I don't know if you have social media. I try to find you on Twitter. Name didn't even know it was you. But little advice, if you do the ponytail below the tape, kind of keeps things a little more controlled and out of your face. That's free advice from a fellow long hair. But yeah, hats off to New York. Good job going down there. Handled the weather, handled the adversity, handled the, you know, San Diego going up early on you, took care of business. Week one victory. This game is the epitome of week one victory, and a week one loss doesn't quite mean as much, right? I think both these teams have a much higher ceiling than what they showed week one. I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see San Diego play in a stadium. Those players don't deserve to be changing intents before games. Get them in a damn stadium. They're professional rugby players, and they're some of the best in the country and in the world. So fix it. All right, I'm just writing down my times here. Moving on, I legitimately do have a notebook of notes. I stood there and took notes. My little preface pre-one for this one, I would like to say to the league, to the Rugby Network, if you guys see this, if you care, if anyone agrees with me or anything I'm saying, also remember, please like, subscribe, share, do all that stuff, get the word out. Really helps me, helps the channel. It helps you do a lot more stuff on social media. I didn't quite understand like how much you need the likes and shares and subscribers to actually do some of the like things on different social media channels that you see like content creators and influencers